Hello everyone, welcome to the Ozark Outpost. This is Global War 85, Operation Nike, U.S. Global Command 6.4. Okay, here we go. First stop is tech. Oh, look at that, I didn't lay my tech dice out. What in the world am I thinking? I should have had that ready. So it's going to be Advanced SLBM and SDI. Advanced SLBM, SDI is 7. And advanced manufacturing. I gotta get this one out of here for that. Okay, so 1 for that. We're putting 2 dice on SDI. And 1 for advanced manufacturing. Advanced manufacturing, yes. Everything else, no. So advanced manufacturing goes to stage 2. The others pathetically struck out. Okay, now that we are at war, since the Soviets hold Shiraz, which is an oil land zone, U.S. Global gets 1d12 to attempt theater release authorization. So here we go. 1d12. And 1 is about as far away from release authorization as you can get. Okay, military aid and purchase. Let's get over here. There it all is. Okay, military aid. I guess I didn't lay it out exactly right, but we'll get through it. Oh yeah, I did. For Pacific Command, we're going to finish the cruiser that was on the build chart. NATO gets an attack bomber. South Africa is getting a mech. Let's see, this is 4. That's 11. NATO's getting a mech for 4. Pakistan, which we now have a defense treaty with because of the Soviet possession of Afghanistan. Pakistan's getting a destroyer for 6. And then for ourselves, we're spending 5 to finish the supercarrier from the build chart, spending 4 to finish the cruiser from the build chart, buying a destroyer for 6, a frigate for 3, and saving 1. All right, that takes us to combat. We are going to have quite a bit of combat. So again, I'm going to spread my target markers around as I point these out to try to help me remember what's what or where I need to do stuff. Okay, so we are going to have an attack on Cuba. Who is going to attack Cuba, you might ask? Well, I have answers to provide. Right here in Gulf States, we have 2 Marines. They are going to load up on this amphibious assault ship. That also, no, I threw that in the wrong one. Also has an attack helicopter on board. So 2 Marines and an attack helicopter in amphibious assault on Cuba. We have down here in A36, we have another amphibious assault ship with an attack chopper on it. They are going to pick up, here's A36, they're going to pick up the Marine from Costa Rica. He is also going to do amphibious assault on Cuba. Then from the fleet card in A36, on board the carrier we have 2 fighters and an attack bomber that are going to go in and hit Cuba. And that's it for the invasion of Cuba. 3 Marines, 1 airborne, 2 attack choppers, 2 fighters, and an attack bomber. So that's Cuba. Next, this B-52 here in Great Lakes, he's going to take off and he is going to fly 1 up here to Ontario, 2 to Quebec, 3, 4, 5, 6, where he is going to shoot 2 cruise missiles, 2 spaces into Nordland in a surgical strike. So the B-52 sits there in A6. And we put an attack marker on Nordland. Next thing, down here in the Indian Ocean, we got this Soviet artillery and MBT in eastern Iran. US Global doesn't think too much of that, so from the fleet card in I6, right here, there is an attack bomber that is going to go in there in surgical strike. Top Gun ASF and fighter are going along as escorts. The B-52 from Diego Garcia is going to take off 1, 2, 3 up there, and he is going to carpet bomb during that same action. Okay, now we got the Navy stuff. So, from the fleet card in A36, where you see the fleet marker there, we're going to take a destroyer and a frigate, and they are going to go 1, 2, 3 down here to A42, where they're going to attack that Soviet SSN. Then we're going to take 2 frigates from A38. They're coming over here 2 spaces to A40, where they're going to attack that Soviet diesel boat. Move that P3 a little bit. They're going to attack that Soviet diesel boat there. Then frigate from A41 is going 1, 2, 3 up here to attack that Soviet diesel boat in A31. There's that one. Up here in A15, we've got this Soviet SSGN. So 2 frigates from A24 going 1, 2 up there. And they're going to attack him. Then the SSN up here in A4 is going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 down here to attack this SSN in A21. And finally, I've already been over here, but I wrote it down last. That's why I didn't do it till now. The fleet card in I-6 has an SSN on it. It's going 1-2 down here to attack that Soviet SSN in I-10. And that is our combat movement. So, let's get with it. I think I'll just try to work my way across the map. So we're going to start right here in I-10. So we have American SSN, misses with an 8. The Soviet Soviet's going on silent running. Okay, Soviet on silent running. Next, we'll do the surgical strike and the carpet bombing in eastern Iran. There's no air defenses. Given that there are 2 Americans going in there to escort, the Soviets are not going to scramble their fighter from Afghanistan. Well, could they even? Yeah, there's an airbase there, but they're not going to scramble their fighter from Afghanistan. So, the attack bomber goes in, misses with an 8. And then that's 5 dice for the B-52. And those all miss. So, no joy there. All right, next. Take that one off. Next, we'll come over here. We've got a destroyer and a frigate attacking an SSN and A-42. So the destroyer, frigate. Destroyer's purple, frigate's light blue. Okay, they both missed. He is also going to silent run. Take that one off. Next, we got 2 frigates in A-40 attacking the diesel boat. So 2 frigates. Okay, there is a hit with a 2. So the Soviet takes his defense shot. He misses with a 5. So that SK is out of there. All right, next we will have the frigate on the diesel boat there in A-30, 31, whatever it is there. So the frigate shoots, misses with a 9. That one is also going to silent run for the Soviets. Put him on silent running. Now wait a minute. Somewhere I did something wrong. I didn't put anybody to attack that guy, and I know I meant to. I didn't, and I know I meant to. Oh, this was it. This P3 is shifting his patrol area down here to A30. There we go. That's what we need. So the P3, remind myself, is that a 3 or a 4? Oh, P3 actually attacks at a 2. Okay. He misses with a 12, but the Soviet doesn't have any other choice because he'll just keep hitting and hitting and hitting until he's dead. So this SSGN here goes on silent running. Okay, now we got 2 frigates on an SSGN up there in A15. Two frigates. Okay, they both miss. This one is also going on silent running. There's that. Now we've got SSN on SSN in A21. Let's get a different, let's go for an orange. American SSN. There is a hit. So the Soviet defends. He misses with an 8. So that one comes off there. All right, now B-52 shooting 2 cruise missiles into Nordland in a surgical strike. And he was out of scramble range for anything the Soviets had. So here we go. Well, there's 2 hits, 5 or less. And they can only target the land units. They can't do the attack choppers, so these 2 airborne come off. And let me review my notes real quick and make sure that's all of the combat. No, it ain't all the combat. We haven't done Cuba yet. I believe that is everything but Cuba, though. Yes, it is. Okay, Cuba I'm going to set up on the battle board. Okay, we got the battle board set up here. See the Soviet, these are actually Soviet units now. The Soviet ASW chopper is in the retirement box because there isn't anything for him to shoot at. So we have a Spag that's going to get 2 shots in first strike, and that's it for first strike, and then we'll go from there. Oh, wait a minute, I got these guys out of place. These 2 fighters are supposed to be over here in the air superiority box. Okay, now we're set. So, Spag for the Soviets gets 2 shots. They get 1 hit. That is first strike. That is the only first strike. So, the Americans are going to kill a Navy fighter. Okay, that's taken care of. Now on to the Americans. So we got 1 fighter for air superiority. Misses with an 11. Now our 3 Marines and our airborne are all in assault mode, and they've got close air support, so they're all at 4. So we have 4 at 4. There are 2 hits. 2 general hits. Now we have 2 attack choppers at 6. There's another hit, that's 3. Attack bomber at 7. That's a miss with a 9. Okay, the Soviets respond with a fighter on air superiority. It misses with an 8. Now they've got 3 light infantry at 4. That's good for 1 hit. 1 hit. Okay, 3 hits by the Americans have to be taken off. And they're going to kill the 3 light infantry. That one's cleared. The Americans have to take 1 general hit. They're going to take 1 Marine. So that one's cleared off. All right, now the fighter, this is the only defending unit the Soviets have left, goes to its regular box. This American fighter goes to its regular box, and we do it again. So we got an airborne and 2 Marines at 4. They miss. We've got 2 attack choppers are purple and a fighter is red at 6. Okay, the red fighter got the hit. The attack bomber goes in just because. Misses with an 8, but they did get the hit. Soviet fighter defends and hits with a 5. So the Americans are going, the Soviet is gone. The ASW chopper is gone. The Americans are going to kill the airborne for the hit they had to take. So, our camera down here on the blow-up box. We have 2 American Marines have captured Cuba. Get that roundel on there. Okay, the Americans go up 2 from 48 to 50. And that's the end of combat. Yeah, that's the end of combat. So now non-combat. All right, let's deal with all the air from our strikes first. So the 2 attack choppers from the Battle for Cuba are going back to their amphibious assault ships to land. The fighter and the attack bomber are going back to their carrier in A-36. So there's that. The B-52 goes back to Diego Garcia. The planes from the fleet card in I-6 go back to their carrier. The B-52 over here that shot into Nordland. I think he moved, 6 spaces to get to here. So he's going 1-2 down here to land at southern England. And that's it for all of our strike air. Now, This P3 from P38 is going to land back here at Puerto Rico. The fleet there in A36. The fleet there in A36 is going to go A36 is going to go 1, 2, 3 up there to A24. So we're going to have a second battleship coming on to this fleet card here. Okay, everybody else. Maybe that's the guy I didn't move. That SSN and A39 was supposed to have moved in an attack and he didn't. That was the thing I forgot that caused me to move that P3. But it all worked out. So that SSN is going to stay right where he is for the moment. Yeah, he's going to stay where he is for the moment. All right, I think that's all that stuff. Okay, now airlift. We're going to take an infantry from Nicaragua and we are going to airlift him into Macau. And we're going to take an airborne from Gulf States. We have 2 airborne over here at Gulf States. We're going to take one. We'll get rid of the chip because we had an airborne casualty we can use. He is going to airlift into UAE. Right there. The other airborne from Gulf States. You just saw him over there, so I don't need to show him to you again. He's going to airlift into Egypt. Okay, the F-117 and the ASF from southern United States are both going to rebase over here to southern England. There's that. Given the situation in the North Atlantic there, US Global isn't prepared yet to try any sea lift. There's too many wolves out there in the water at the moment. So I think that's going to be the end of non-combat. Let's make sure we move the fleet. Yeah, that's going to be the end of non-combat. So let's place units. The cruiser and the supercarrier, of course, have to be built at the major shipyard in A24. So they are going to go on the fleet card that I have sitting down here in the Sahara. So those two go there. The destroyer and the frigate are being built the destroyer and the frigate wait, I made one error a while ago. Since it was involved in an amphibious assault, the amphib that was on that fleet card has to stay behind in A36. No, he doesn't, because we did this. We moved him up to A33, and he did his amphibious assault from there. So now the destroyer and the frigate are being built at the minor shipyard in Gulf States, right there. And that's everything that the U.S. built for themselves. So now we have military aid delivery. So let's go here. The mechanized infantry for South Africa is actually going into southwestern Africa, right there. The destroyer for Pakistan goes right here in I-6 at that minor shipyard, being delivered to I-6, to that minor shipyard. The cruiser for Pak is delivered over here to A25. And then finally the attack bomber for NATO is going on the task force card for Rhineland, delivered to that major army base. Okay, that's it for delivering military aid. Now, have to collect some money. So the Americans are at 50 on the income chart you see there. Plus, they're getting their wartime bonus of 8, makes them 58. Now they have to take a -4 for the deactivated oil tanker in I-1, and that's -2. There's another -2 for the oil field in Shiraz. So 58 -4 is going to make 54, plus the one they saved. You thought I was going to forget it, didn't you? I'm going to put 55 in the U.S. bank. So 55 in their treasury. And then missiles. We shot 2 cruise missiles. We're producing 1, 2, 3, 4 per turn. So this is going to be a net gain of 2. So we'll change that gray chip for a green. And then we're also going to pick up 4 more Tomahawks. So we'll change that gray chip for a red. We get just one anti-ship missile at the moment. Add that to the stockpile. And there we go. Ozark Outpost. Over and out.